busy schedule.
I wonder if I've got time to record that list about
transits. What's the moon
and
doing?
you have to just
I gotta eat.
that day around
All day. God, it's already done. I spent a week.
Next reading
Effie,
last week.
where are you? Just
career
grab
life
my water.
Hi,
Hi, it's
how's your day
Matilda.
going?
It's so nice
Just
to hear
getting
your
your chart
voice.
up.
Woohoo! So we are at number 85 in Denmark, 134 in Ireland. We are in the Australian spirituality and the religion and spirituality charts.
Hot damn.
At number 41 and number 228. We are in the Canada. We had 51 in Canada, 40 in Great Britain, 213 in the religion and spirituality, 166 in the American religion and spirituality. And do you know what else? We are number 10 in the American spirituality charts.
Rock the F on.
And do you know what that means? What does that mean?
Means fuck, we're good.
Fig jam. Absolutely
Fig jam.
I've started to tag myself that. Fig jam, because you and I, between us, have three podcasts sitting in the top 10 of the American spirituality charts.
Yep.
Woo, 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 woo.
Not bad for a couple of old gals.
Not bad for a couple of old girls. Exactly. It's been a big week. It's been a big week. Do we say that every week?
We do, but this has been a lot. How are you feeling with it?
I'm always okay. I sort of take things in. No, I don't take things in my stride. That's a load of bullshit because I had a meltdown last week. I can't do this. It's been smoother than last week. Can I just say that the president of the United States of America deciding to not run for re-election has been slightly smoother than dealing with ex-president Trump's attempted assassination.
Yeah.
Actually, when I say slightly, a lot smoother, because
I've been getting a little more heat because I've got a bunch of trolls hitting me because they're like decided that the RNC convention wasn't violent enough. And I'm like, well, if you actually listen to my podcast, I gave lots of ways that could transpire. And people are disappointed about no food poisoning, but I still think there was, because there's a meat recall that includes the state of Wisconsin for lunch meats and deli meats.
But you know what? We don't hear and
somebody's
see
got
everything.
listeria. Yeah, somebody's got listeria from the RNC convention. I'm convinced of it.
Someone's got the shits. Can we just say someone has
That's
got the
right.
shits?
It just didn't happen right there, which is a slight disappointment. But I'm like, that's awful freaking close. The minute the listeria recall happened, I was like, somebody ate the deli meat.
But people don't understand that our predictions, they're up for translation, etc. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
There was violence at the RNC. They did not read their... Okay, I'm going to list the violence, okay? Mm-hmm. There was 2 shootings on the perimeter of the
convention center.
The convention center. A load of senators really hounded the director of the Secret Service, and it was not pleasant. Matt Gaetz had a go at someone else. Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah.
Okay. Good old Kevin.
And somebody, it wasn't Kevin who called Gaetz an asshole, but somebody else was like, you don't have to be an asshole. And I was like, that's fisticuffs with words.
They spoke the truth. And then they were about to do a prayer, and there was a television or photographers stepped forward, and there was a load of people that jumped off the stage and had a go at them.
Really? I missed that.
Tell me that was on the final night. The final night, just after Trump, either just before or just after the Trumpty Dumpty's speech.
Oh, there we go. But it wasn't crazy enough.
Yeah. Where did those leaving those messages? Do they live in a dorm room? Do they just see this sort of thing every day?
They're just trolls. Trolls. I had a troll on my Patreon too, but they're gone. So
yeah, I've had a troll who I answered. People think that, don't give your energy to them. Why not? I like to troll the trolls. What I was going to say is that I had
At least
somebody...
that troll paid me. The one in my Patreon, he paid me.
Oh, if you're going to
But I did block his sorry ass. Yeah.
Block him,
And if you're
take his money.
listening, my Patreon is not a space for equal discussion. So you should.
Yeah.
But you did pay me, and I appreciate that. Now you don't have to anymore. So, yay, freed up your budget.
Freed up their budget for them. Isn't that kind of you?
Mm-hmm. It was.
No, I think it's been a lot nicer.
Much nicer in some ways.
I think that, although we can say it wasn't unexpected because we had both been predicting it for the last 2 years, 18 months, 2 years, that it wasn't unexpected. I think that as it's gotten closer and closer, it's been more expected because of his physical decline.
Yeah, which is sad.
Yeah, I think it's very sad because nobody wants to see their father, because he's my father's age.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see them put on show for people to poke fun at them.
No.
I would like them to sit back, enjoy their latter years.
Well, it does a disservice to a long and distinguished career as well.
Absolutely, it does. But
I don't know. There was a little bit of beauty with him stealing Trump's thunder, though. And that was such a Scorpio thing to do. I
think it was a lovely thing to do. I think
it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. They just completely took the wind out of sails. So,
and to be perfectly honest, I don't think Trump, the next big announcement regarding Trump is not going to be a good one.
No.
And he should never take up the headlines in what they think is a positive way. But I also want to talk about the fact that I have said this for a couple of years, that women were going to be the undoing of Trump.
You have.
And we are on the pathway for that. So, yeah, that's... it's been difficult. How are you doing with it all? Because there has been a lot of growth. There's a lot of people out there.
It has been a lot, and it was a little overwhelming. I'm not going to lie. I was a little overstimulated. I have this week, because I took this time off months ago, knowing this time period was going to be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And crazy for me because it's around my birthday. So it's always significant timing around your birthday. And so it's like, all right, take some time off, recalibrate, get organized. And I feel like I should have been organized ahead of it because it's just like, I haven't been able to catch my breath.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, the podcast, I wouldn't have known the podcast was at number one if it wasn't for you because I never check charts.
Right, because
I don't look at numbers. I honestly don't.
But I get an email from my podcast, the people, because we do SACC is through the same organization. And you don't use that for your personal podcast.
No, I don't.
But I get an email, and I was talking to you, and the email came through on my computer, and I said, I'm at number 3. Was it 3 or 5? I can't remember
3 or
where
5
I was. 3 or 5.
Yeah.
I've been bouncing between 5 and 2. And I said, and I didn't even look. I just looked at the email. I didn't click on the chart. I just said, oh my goodness, I'm at number 3. And I took the dog for a walk. And you phoned me whilst I was taking the dog for a walk and said, I'm at number 1. And I was in the middle of my local park. So if anybody in central Victoria heard us scream.
We were screaming. We were screaming because when you said it, I was like, I'm going to go look. And so I went on, and I've tried to navigate that stupid website a million times to no effect. I don't know what's going on with it. And then I finally, something popped up, and I'm like, when what? I mean, literally, that was my reaction. When what? One of 5, one of, it wasn't clicking. And then I clicked the chart, and I'm like, holy mother of pearl.
There was other language involved, but she's being polite.
Yes, I am being polite. I have a Libra moon. I try to be good.
She tries to be refined, but she lies. No, she's very refined. But I did not look at I didn't even open up the chart. I just took the email on face value.
Yeah. So we hold those 3 positions now.
But when I was number 1 and number 2, I think that was you were number 1 and I was number 2.
That was amazing.
That was one of the happiest times.
I screamed in my car when you called me. I'm sure people thought something bad. It was exciting.
Yeah, the fact that us in our 50s, look what we can do.
Absolutely.
Look what happens when you collaborate, when you support each other, when you are there, when we are having our meltdowns, because we have both had meltdowns in the last week. You may think that this is wonderful, having this attention, these are our followers. My followers have grown by about 25,000.
About that, same.
Then you've got the podcast. Then you've got the inquiries that go along with that. We were both at capacity already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were already.
So to add on top of that is pretty scary. Mm-hmm. And so I had a meltdown and I'm like, I don't like these people. They're meanie poo-poo heads and they're all being mean to me. And I don't like the pressure. And you had your meltdown, which was similar, but in American. And so, yeah.
I said a lot of bad words.
But it's good. It feels good. It's just that when you are people that work with energy, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, we're very sensitive, and it's hard when people are throwing big emotions in our direction.
Oh, and there's lots of big emotions.
And there's been so much. It's different in a one-on-one reading where we have set parameters. We do our ritual, whatever it is. You know, ritual doesn't mean. Yeah, we're ready. You're not ready for thousands of people to go, make me feel better today. And it's like, I can't.
I'm scared. Those days.
God.
And then there was I'm sad. I'm disappointed. Yeah. I'm angry because people were feeling
talked about
like
that. Yeah,
he was pushed out. He wasn't pushed out.
No, he didn't do. First of all, he's a Scorpio with a Taurus moon. You can't make that man do anything he don't want to do. Mm-hmm. At all. No. Somebody managed to tell him. Doing. Yeah, somebody managed to go, dude, you're gonna really fuck with Trump, and he'd be like, I will do it for that. Yeah, but he wasn't going to. Somebody talked to him about his service and his legacy and his, and time with his family.
And Biden can have the hardest possible day in politics. Mm-hmm. And it will never be his hardest day.
No. Ever.
He's been through the most traumatic experiences that anyone ever needs to go through.
Yeah, ever can imagine.
And nothing that I don't think Trump's that short, but he looks short. Nothing that a dumpty, redhead, orange, Mr. Potato Head, because that's what he does look like, can throw at him.
Careful, you got banned for that before.
Oh, I did, didn't I? Calling him a potato head.
Yeah. I can't believe you lost your account.
No, I said that his head was full of mashed potato. Get the context right. Yeah. I got a strike for calling Trump a potato head and that his head was full of mashed potato. Anyway, nothing that said potato head can throw at Biden. And you've got to remember, I don't give a shit about American politics. I just predict it. Nothing that anyone can throw at Biden is going to be his worst day ever.
No, it won't. No. He's lived those. Several of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, it's nice to see the energy back. People are feeling energized.
Yeah. And the belief in Kamala is amazing. She's raised 83 million.
Yeah, Vice President Harris has absolutely blown all fundraising records away.
Wow.
And these are relatively small. These are donations under $2,000.
They're the grassroots donations.
Yep. Yep. Which is huge. So, but guys, I am going to say, and I've been kind of warning my patrons about this in our chat. She has the better transits, and getting to president isn't going to be easy. And we're going to talk about that in our event.
We are going to talk about that in our event, which is on the 3rd of April.
August.
August. Oh, for God's sake. Ask me again how I'm doing with all of this.
How you doing, Matilda? We'll be on our game that day.
We will be on our game. Yeah, I sometimes forget the date. I do not have dementia. I just have Matildaitis. On the 3rd of August in the year of 2024.
You got it right this time.
Oh my God.
I went to sign a check one day because I was signing a check to somebody who still takes checks.
Okay, that was a long time ago.
Right. Well, no, this was recently. And I started to write 1997.
Well, and I was the last time I wrote a check.
You wrote a check, right? I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even go for the 2000s. I was like, well, I am going to be 55. Maybe I've started having senior moments. But yeah, it was just.
I don't know what my excuse is, but there is.
Well, other than being in pain, but besides that.
I don't think that's an excuse, really, because I did this before I was in pain. I have often made videos and I've gone into my living room and my words are, hey, Google, what's the date today? So that I can type it into TikTok. I've always been a bit scatty like that, though. Seriously?
Mediums don't have to be good at dates.
No, but, I'd like to know what timeline I'm in.
Oh, God. Time is not a one-dimensional vector, and yet it is a tree with many branches. But no, we didn't all collectively shift.
I have been asked that so many times. So when Trump got shot, did that shift the timeline? And that means that he's now going to be president? First of all, you have to be alive to be president, okay? And they missed.
Yeah, they missed.
So
and
he is still walking, talking.
He didn't even get stitches. That bandage was theater. And
the Tampax on his face.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
That was the most ridiculous thing.
But Putin thinks he's great.
Oh, yeah, of course Putin thinks he's great. If anyone's listened to one of my Patreon-only podcasts where I do discuss in depth my belief system or what I have been shown regarding the Russians and Trumpty Dumpty. Because
I have him as a foreign agent.
Oh, he's absolutely a foreign agent.
Absolutely.
Have you ever seen that? And I think I've talked about it with the man in the castle, the man in the high castle. That is what the United States is going to turn into if he gets in again. Not that he's going to get in again, but that's what he was aiming towards.
Yeah, but he's not going to. So, and I just want you people to know, I don't care what fucking timeline it is, the astrology hasn't changed. So sometimes if you deal with time, there are fixed points in time.
Yeah. But
watch a Doctor Who episode and you'll understand.
And I am not a time traveler. Can I just make this really clear? That I am not a time traveler. When I go to sleep, some people have been talking in my Patreon, she loves her sleep because I sleep when the shit's going down and I wake up and either an ex-president's been shot or a president's resigned. Next week, I'm not going to even talk about what's going to happen next week, but, I sleep when normal sleeping hours. Hate to tell you that.
Well, you're on the other side of the world in the future.
And I'm not sure how many Americans understand the world clock.
I don't think many do.
Because the world clock is,
it's the standard.
Yeah. And I'm usually awake by 6 a.m. I happen to wake up at 6:30 a.m. that particular day.
Which is afternoon for me in the past.
I am a time traveller. What will my time travelling name be? Doctor Who? What will I be? Madam Matilda.
There you go, Madam Matilda at the center of the universe. Yeah, I time travel all the time, but it's in my head because I deal with all the different potentials. Yeah. Can drive you crazy if you don't do it right. So, but
But I don't disappear to the future when I go to sleep. Can I just say that? I don't. That's not how I get my information.
No.
Well, that's another conspiracy theory for you. Well, this episode was really just to sort of wind up the end of the season 2. Let everyone know
this is like our encore performance from the last episode because we hit the charts and we didn't get that in that last episode.
No.
And we wanted to celebrate that. Our event is August 3rd. You can check out the show notes and find the link for that and register for that. If you're patrons of either of us and our individual Patreons, you can save 50%. What else was I going to say?
I think that was about it. But we were and we wanted to crow about the fact that we both predicted that we did not think that.
Yeah, we weren't unconvinced. I was just re-looking at my 2024 year ahead and listening to the video, and I was like, well, if he makes it through the summer, I was like, mostly because at that point, by December of 2023, he had lived through some things that should have taken any other mere mortal out. And that's Western medicine. It was interventions. And willpower. He's got an extraordinary amount of will.
He has got an extraordinary amount of willpower, but I am very sad to say that the prediction that Kamala will inherit the presidency is very separate to this.
It is very separate, and it is not the same as being a nominee.
No.
It is its own thing. And that is yet to come, and it is most likely coming, and we'll talk about that in our event. I'm doing an event patron-only presentation. It's just I'm making a video on her transits. So, but I'm not going to spill all the beans.
Okay. But yes, sign up to our event. It's all in the show notes.
Yep.
Keep listening to our individual podcasts because they are...
Because we are amazing.
Because we are amazing. Absolutely. And
we don't care who's where.
No.
Okay.
No.
If Matilda jumps to number 1, I will be the first one happy dancing.
And
so...
I love the fact that Laurie is number 1 because she's been at this a lot longer than I have. I am a newcomer. Seriously. I've had my podcast for 6 months.
Yeah, look at you.
And that's,
you're good.
Fig jam. I've started using that as a hashtag.
You should. Fig jam. Yeah. Kiss my accuracy. Fig jam.
Fig jam. But that sounds a bit egotistical, but I do like it.
No, I don't care. I don't think it's ego when you're good. I don't think it's arrogant to be confident in your skills and abilities. And there are things where it's okay to say fig jam. It just is. So
yeah.
But
have you noticed that I haven't been using my filter lately?
I have.
Because I got so fucking sick and tired of other practitioners criticizing me for using that filter. And those other practitioners ain't fig jam.
Right. Well, that's kind of the thing. Is I'm going to be answering some questions because I do, we both do Q&A, right?
Yeah.
And I just had a question in the chat, and I was like, hey, this is a great one for the Q&A. They're like, why did the other astrologers keep saying, Trump's going to win? And are you seeing things differently? I'm like, well, beyond they're not well studied in mundane astrology, there's things they're reading very, very wrong. And I've actually explained it in past recordings in my Patreon, but I've made so much content, I know it's hard to find. So even though I've got stuff moving into, like, you started with Patreon when there were already collections.
Yeah, it doesn't mean to I've used them.
Oh, okay.
Mostly I have.
They're very new.
Yeah, mostly I have.
I have 1,500 posts.
Uh-huh.
And about 1,100 of those, if maybe 1,000, are from before collections.
Right.
So, and it just my learning curve on Patreon. So.
Somebody's put the same thing in a question on my page.
Oh,
and I have told this person several times that I am not an astrologer, because their first question was, can you please do what every sign is going to expect this month?
People, you got to understand, they're different disciplines.
Yeah, different disciplines. But I put them right. And then they said, but why are the other astrologers saying that Trump's going to win?
What if it's the same person?
And I think it's different to Laurie's or whatever. And I said, Laurie Rivers has over 30 years study and experience. And I left it at that, because I'm sick of fucking explaining it. I will explain it and come to your defense till the cows come home. But the cows are home at the moment. They are in my bathroom having a shower.
Right. As they should be.
Just
well, I was going to say, I called his first indictment a year exactly to the month that happened. So a year before the January 6th hearings ever happened.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. I've had enough evidence. And the reason I was shocked by the attempted pew-pew on him was because he had no reasonable transits for an assassination attempt.
But what did he have in his chart, though, Laurie?
So what most people were looking at, I talked about this on my own podcast, not this week, last week.
Okay.
They were looking at this fixed star of Gaul. They were looking at Mars having crossed his MC, and that's the top of your chart. And that's the area of life that deals with our reputation, fame. Mars going over the top of that just means you're very prominently seen. It could mean that you're dealing with public enemies, but it's usually not physical.
Right.
It's usually like slander, what have you, whatever. But what most of these astrologers who think they're predicting astrologers don't ever look at is lunar transits. And if you're a mundane astrologer, you're often looking at the moon, because the moon deals with the everyday rhythm of life. And wherever it's traveling through the chart is very active. He had a bunch of good luck that day. Like the way he turned his head, he wouldn't have known. You couldn't have timed that.
No.
Right. He had extraordinary good luck that day. But there was a financial deal.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, there was a financial deal. And it's in more than one spot. That's the other thing. Most people look at one planet doing one thing and they're like, this is the answer. It's like any kind of data science. You can't use one indicator for proof. That's people using confirmation bias.
Yes. You can find anything you want by using certain words and searches. And you have to look outside the square, so to speak. All right, I'm not going to try and explain astrology.
I use it just like I would. Well, just think of it like science. I need more than one indicator.
Right.
I need to have 3 pieces of information corroborating. Or I don't consider it a strong scenario.
Right. Okay.
So you don't have to know anything about astrology to know that you need more than just like
one. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Well, fair enough.
Alrighty. Well, this is a short one, guys. So we will be back in a couple of weeks. We're going to kind of shape it up.
We are. We're going to shape it up. We're going to be back in a couple of weeks. And
with a vengeance.
With a vengeance. But yeah, in the meantime. And next week, we're going to try and upload our
proof of work.
What?
Right? What are we uploading?
A proof of work. How do we do that?
Our predictions.
Oh, our predictions. Okay, yeah, no. Next week we are going to upload our chat that we had with our Patreon members on YouTube a couple of weeks ago, just to keep you company.
Okay. Oh, right. I have that file. Yes. A lot has happened. I forgot about it.
She's driven 1,000 miles. She's very tired.
I've had 400 people show up in my Patreon in like the last 2 weeks. My head is spinning. And that's not the free members.
Yeah,
it's just
I know.
My head. I looked. Do you know how long it took me to do that when I first started? It took me like a year. because I had no one helping me. I'd never done it. Nobody had helped me. Nobody gave me any advice. I was just like, I will just try this and I will just try that. And I also, for the first 3 months, didn't think anyone would ever care or want to join. So, yeah.
It's just, it has got busy. So, but Laurie knows what I'm talking about. She hasn't left it back behind. She's just forgotten that we discussed it at another point. So, forgive her.
I remember now. I'm 55. Be gentle with me.
Her birthday was last week.
My birthday was Sunday.
Fuck's sake.
Right?
It feels like a week ago.
It feels like a week, though. It does. No, I'm right with you.
It's ridiculous.
And I woke up to that news. That was my birthday present.
That was your... But I said to you last week, didn't I? Yep. I said, Laurie, how prepared are you for your birthday to be interrupted?
Yep.
It's going to happen on your birthday. Yep. Last week we had the same thing happen on the same day.
Yep.
Or the same... Because we both lost days. I lost my Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I said, you need to be prepared.
Yep.
And you went, yeah, it's all cool. I know it's coming Sunday. Isn't it great? Yeah. And then it hits and we go, fuck.
And it's all good. It's not a bad problem to have.
And we love you all.
We do.
But we're tired.
We're tired, but it's not just tired. I know you see us as something like we create content, right? We're creators, right? But we're really like moms.
Yeah.
And yes, she's a medium. I'm an astrologer. But that's just kind of part of our lives. I also bake bread and cook dinner. And
I don't do any of those things.
You have your Thermomix. But we have everyday lives.
We have everyday lives, but the expectation sometimes does weigh very heavy on us. When everyone is looking to us to calm their nerves, the expectation on us can weigh very heavy. And
we don't have big teams.
What? Hold on. Where's our team? My team consists of I have Mandy.
Yeah. I have my daughter. My mom's going to help me now.
Your mum's going to help you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have Mandy, but do you know what? I haven't had time to set Mandy up with what she needs to be a member of my team.
I haven't had a chance to set my mom up either.
Which is, you know, and I have a lovely lady by the name of Naomi who is helping me because of my pain at home, doing stuff that I can't do. But other than that, we is on our own.
Yeah. My daughter does my strategy and gives me lots of, cues, and she's good at it. But and not all of it, but especially more for like paying attention to appearances and likability. She's very good at that. She's like, Mom, you need to stay positive. I'm like, but come on, they just asked me 16 million times.
Yeah, and I do snap back at my trolls. I honestly do. And I'm like, do you never fucking listen to me?
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I know. Yeah. And it's hard, but she is not wrong in some of those cases where it just turned it around into an educational moment.
Yeah.
And it did. She was right.
I did turn it into an educational moment.
You did. Well, it was funny too. So, yeah.
My head was going to explode if I got asked one more time. But anyway, that is us.
We've got to go.
We've got to go because I've got dinner guests tonight. And as much as I love everyone, I have to...
You have a life?
I have a life, and I have to sort out dinner. And that was my phone ringing whilst we were trying to record, because nobody ever pays attention when I put out the big "I am fucking recording" sign. And
this is why I'm in. Why am I in Wyoming, Matilda? I didn't know what to do recording my podcast without having to hit the mute button.
Amazing.
Did you notice?
I did. 2 weeks, and we will be back with a new season of the Sassy Seers. And but join our August the 3rd event. Link in show notes.
It's going to be very detailed. We're going to take you through the rest of the year, and it's going to be very, very involved.
August, September, October, November, December. 5 months.
5 months.
We are going to take you through month by month by month.
Yeah. It's going to be quite the time.
It
Alrighty,
is.
my love.
Mwah.
Check the show notes.
Check the show notes.
You can catch Matilda and I doing what we do best on our own podcasts, Matilda's Beyond the Broomstick and the Awake Space Astrology podcast. You can see the links in the show notes. We'll catch you in 2 weeks.